Yep. All right. We are live, Facebook. Hope you're doing well. We're going live just to kind of give a background who we are, what we're doing, who MyTripify is, and just kind of introducing you to the family. So I am Caleb Shore, co-creator. Riley Beaumont we have on this Facebook Live as well. And yeah, we'll keep it super short, super sweet, maybe about 10 minutes max of your time. Thanks for joining. If you are joining live, let us know in the comments. If you're joining on a replay, let us know as well. And yeah, so me, Caleb Shore, co-creator, me and Riley go back a couple of years. We used to work at a software company together, but we've kind of crossed paths in the past couple of years with real estate and specifically short-term rentals. That is the niche that we are targeting and we are going after, and we've had some success. So Riley, I'm super excited to be here. We're gonna try to go live in this group to provide you guys value as much as possible. Maybe once a week, hopefully, to begin with, maybe once a month to kind of get the wheels rolling. I have never done a Facebook Live. Riley has never done one either. So definitely be some learning curve. So Riley, give us a 60-second intro about you.
That's right. First off, it's great to be here. It's great to reach you guys. Like Caleb said, we'll be doing this on a regular basis. So we really want to kind of put a face to a name and kind of establish ourselves as your guide to the short-term rental industry in Charlotte. So I'm Riley Beaumont. I'm a licensed real estate broker in the state of North Carolina. How I got into short-term rentals, about in 2016, about 4 or 5 years ago, I bought a property in South Park, and at that time started to rent the property out, and then have gotten into real estate ever since. So I got my real estate license, got connected with Caleb, and now we started this firm called MyTripify, where we're here to specialize in short-term rentals.
Cool. And one thing that I really like to tell a story with Riley, you were doing long-term rentals, and what was that kind of aha moment for you that you were like, oh man, like tell us more about that bad tenant that threatened to sue you?
Yeah, it was a tough scenario. It was a tough situation to be in, obviously. So I had placed somebody in the property, and before placing him in there, everything seemed okay. Everything was hunky-dory, not a lot of questions. But once we had him in there, it seemed like every little thing was wrong with the property. Nothing had been mentioned before. Obviously, everything was on the up and up. Nothing was being hidden or taken away from that person, fully transparent in that operation. And all these problems kept coming up. When I say problems, they're very little things. And I'm working as hard as I can to make sure and address all the problems in a timely manner based off the priority of each situation. And it's just things that you would expect to come up beforehand. So, give it a couple months, and this person became very angry, very rude, very difficult to work with, very unprofessional. I mean, on the phone, cussing me out, hanging up on me, just absolutely making this work relationship very difficult on my end, to say the least. So kick forward another few weeks and another couple angry phone calls, a lot of being cussed out, and a lot of trying to do my best to work with this person to get them the best place to live that I can provide. Then we have a huge blowout, and it's mainly around a little bit of humidity in the house. So trust me, I did everything I can. We've got a dehumidifier in there, pumping water out, and it's a slight humidity in the summer in the state of North Carolina. So it's a problem that everyone deals with. If you're a homeowner, you realize, but you do what you can to mitigate it, and you make sure that there's no mold in the place. And that's kind of how you address the problem to begin with. So it's a work in progress, but we just could not come to terms on that and several other issues. So I recommended this person. This doesn't seem like a good fit. It did when we moved in. A lot of these problems and new requests and issues that you had have now come to light. Let's do this. You can move out, no penalty to you, whenever you want, whenever you get ready. Take a month, even whatever you need to get out of the property. So the long and short of it, once that person moves out, they threatened to sue me over the rents that they paid, with all these allegations, none of which end up being true. And luckily, we haven't heard from them since and have kind of moved on. But
yeah,
unfortunately, that's kind of like the reality in the long-term renting space is that you can do your best to do this qualification of all your tenants, but you never know what you're going to get. And you're jumping in bed with someone for 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, and having little to no access to the property. I mean, you can even do your best to have these little maintenance checks at 6 months, at a year, just to see what's going on in there. But the reality of the situation is that you have no idea. You can come back and there could be water damage that happened a month ago and it's compounded over time. And I guess for me, that risk, along with a long-term relationship that you're getting into with a person, and obviously there are people of all walks of life and all natures, those drove me to look at other rental options. And I was fortunate enough to have a guy who was doing some lawn care mention that his buddy had operated short-term rental in the neighborhood. And he gave me a little bit about the numbers the property does and the relationship that he has with his guests, which got me thinking about it. So a couple months later, we got the property furnished. We've got it listed on a couple different channels and things are going great. I mean, the first month, I think we were at like 70% occupancy and had, already outpaced what the property was doing in the long-term rental market. So, in 1 month, I'm already doing better and getting an insight into really what this business model looks like, for the years to come. And I'll go into a little bit more about that lately, but that's the story of how we got into the short-term rental industry.
Yeah. And that was kind of your breaking point where it's like, okay, this person is trying to sue me for providing them with a great place to live, you thought. But that was unfortunately not the case in his or her eyes. But yeah, that's an awesome story. I mean, it's terrible, but it's kind of forced you into a short-term rental kind of market. And what we mean by short-term rental, if you're not familiar with the term, it is anything less than 30 days on the rental market. So a lot of people think, Airbnb, VRBO, there's a lot more that goes into that, but that's kind of a background of what that actually means. So, and long-term is anything past 30 days, which is your regular type, you go somewhere and rent something for, 12 months.
And those terms are kicked around a lot. I mean, you even hear Airbnbs as a term. And there's tons of different terms: vacation rentals, short-term rentals, Airbnbs. Really, in the state of North Carolina, legally we call them vacation rentals, but short-term rental is another way to basically hone in a little bit on how we are operating these properties. And like Caleb said, we consider short-term anything 30 days or under. You have midterm stays, which a lot of these properties are conducive to as well, which is anything, 30 to 90 days. And then you have long-term stays, which obviously your yearly tenants, year and a half, those kind of situations.
Yeah. And obviously there's benefits in the short-term market, higher ROI with places that fit the criteria. With that higher ROI, there's more communication. You have to message guests. A lot more kind of admin work and management work than just a long-term rental. So there's more involved. That's hence why we started this management firm, to help those people get into the short-term market and reap those rewards. Higher ROI, your place is better taken care of. Cleaners are in there every week, if not every couple days.
Right. Whenever
someone checks in, checks out, professional cleaners are going in there and taking care of your property, which is your number one asset, which is while we're in business. So, I know we've kind of went past that 10-minute mark. A couple of things I want to touch on before we jump off here. Why Charlotte? You're probably wondering why Charlotte. We're both from Charlotte. We know this market pretty well. And believe it or not, I get a lot of people saying, like, people aren't traveling to Charlotte. Like, it's not a beach town or, a super vacation-y city, but you would be very surprised with the amount of people traveling for Charlotte for whatever reason. I mean, we've seen crazy reasons why people are traveling, weddings, corporate, like travel nursing, who knows? But it's very surprising. It was surprising to me to really see that, because that kind of broke the mold for me. And I've had so many people say, like, Charlotte, like, are people really doing Airbnb in Charlotte? But yes, it is very surprising. Over time, it'll be more popular and it'll be kind of a household thing, but hence why we're here.
I'll throw you.
So just wanted to kind of touch on.
Sorry, Caleb, I didn't mean to cut you out there, but throw you
Yeah,
last
go ahead.
year in 2019, I guess year before last now, the short-term rental industry did about 4 million in revenue. So just to put a number on the Charlotte market, I mean, there's money out there to be made, and it's not just beach town, leisurely areas. People are traveling for to see family, for weddings, like Caleb said, for holidays, for summer vacation. They're doing it for school, for graduations. They're doing it for funerals. I mean, they're traveling for so many reasons. And another benefit that I want to hit on quickly before we end this up is the relationship that you'll have with these guests. I would say for untangible, non-tangible benefits that to talk about for the short-term rental industry, that is among the top. These people are thankful, they're positive, they're respectful. These people want to travel to your place, and they're in a great positive mindset. And think about some of the things that we mentioned that they're coming to do. They're coming to enjoy the time in your city, a new city possibly for them. So all those different factors contribute to this very positive and thankful relationship. And that's such a difference in contrast to the long-term landlord situation where people are very standoffish. Everyone is kind of guarded as to protecting themselves in this relationship. So oftentimes those relationships can get negative because people are so protective over themselves, making sure they don't get screwed and having negative mindsets about property managers and owners and slumlords who aren't going to take care of them. So that's been really eye-opening for me, and something that I've personally enjoyed is really getting to connect with and learn all about all these people that are really from all over the world.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Showing Charlotte in its best light. That's what we're here to do. And then obviously, from the guest perspective, from the landlord perspective, take care of the place, make them more money. I mean, that's essentially it. Essentially, what we're doing. So, yeah, super excited for the journey. We're going to be putting out a lot of content to help you, the potential landlord wanting to get into a short-term rental, kind of educate you with the benefits, pros and cons on every scenario. So, Riley, any kind of closing thoughts?
Just that this is a very exciting industry and a very exciting time for this industry. I want to leave you with one more piece that there's a misconception right now that the short-term industry has taken a hit during COVID. And in some of those leisure markets that may be true, but not in Charlotte. In Charlotte, we've done very well, stayed above 80 to 85% occupancy during this time. People are still traveling. People are still going to see family. People are still going to holidays, and they want to do it safely. And we are staunch believers that staying in an Airbnb, a place where you have access to the entire dwelling unit, you're around less people, that's the safest way to travel. So really, in our opinion, there's never been a better time to get into Airbnb.
Yeah, not checking into a hotel where thousands of people go through the lobby every day. You have to talk to somebody. So it's safer for the guests. So,
absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. Super excited. Riley, thanks for joining, and everyone else, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.